A palace shaken by deceit. When a forbidden scheme comes to light, justice rises and the crown itself stands on the edge of upheaval.
The doors to Piers Morgan's exclusive studio had barely opened before they sent shockwaves through global media as he publicly declared war and vowed to expose an earth-shattering secret buried behind the past in which Meghan had once ghosted him. No longer just baseless speculation or idle rumor, a direct and explosive confrontation had officially erupted between the veteran broadcaster and the Duchess of Sussex. This stunning development not only pushed Harry and Meghan's already fractured marriage into an unprecedented series of fierce and bitter arguments, but also sent Buckingham Palace into turmoil. Faced with what was seen as a grave humiliation, Princess Anne immediately erupted in anger, convened an emergency meeting, and issued both an ultimatum and the harshest verdict yet. What will Meghan do now that she has been driven into a corner, facing a sweeping blockade, and the public turning its back on her? As every mask of ambition finally crumbles, will Harry come to his senses and seek a path back to the royal family? Or will this become the bitter final chapter, leaving Meghan abandoned and utterly alone in overwhelming despair? The studio of Piers Morgan's exclusive program opened in an atmosphere thick with drama, tension, and overwhelming suspense. Beneath the blazing lights of the broadcast stage, Piers Morgan walked out with unmistakable confidence, facing the television cameras head-on as he began the live broadcast. Within the very first moments of the program, Piers publicly revisited the controversy from years ago, recalling the time when Meghan herself had ghosted him, a sudden and brutally cold severing of all communication immediately after she became acquainted with Prince Harry. Without the slightest hesitation, he revived that memory before millions of television viewers, recounting how the woman who is now the Duchess of Sussex had turned her back on him without offering a single word of explanation. However, Piers Morgan firmly declared that the story had never ended with the past or with an ordinary breakdown in communication. He stressed that hidden behind that incident were far more explosive secrets. According to him, there existed concealed truths, dark, disturbing, and deeply serious realities that neither the general public nor the British royal family had ever known before, realities that no one had even imagined. Piers announced that he was in possession of this confidential information and stood ready to bring every last detail into the full glare of the media spotlight. That forceful and unmistakably threatening declaration immediately triggered a tidal wave of shock spreading at breathtaking speed across social media platforms and headlines around the world. The unfolding events left the public and media audiences holding their breath as they watched every passing second of the broadcast. Viewers across the globe were consumed by overwhelming curiosity, endlessly putting forward theories and sensational speculation about what this soon-to-be-revealed secret truly was, and just how devastating its impact might become. An atmosphere of relentless conjecture swept through every corner of public discussion. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, inside the royal palace, the British royal family found itself plunged into a state of extreme tension. Members of the monarchy could hardly sit still after hearing Piers's warning. The palace closely monitored the live broadcast, while anxiously waiting to see Meghan's next move, whether she would remain silent or strike back against these perilous accusations. At that moment, the attention of the entire world was fixed on television screens, waiting for the next move in this suffocating media showdown. What is the explosive secret that Piers Morgan claims to possess? And what horrifying truth about Meghan and Harry's marriage will the next broadcast finally expose? In the next broadcast, without making the public wait any longer, Piers Morgan officially unleashed a bombshell that sent shockwaves through global public opinion. The atmosphere inside the studio was pushed to an unbearable level of tension as Piers stepped onto the stage, looked directly into the camera with an icy stare, and began revealing the specific details. No longer speaking in vague hints or carefully chosen implications, he went straight to the heart of the matter with a firm, forceful, and deeply convincing tone. Piers officially disclosed that not long after Meghan and Prince Harry's wedding, the luxurious life that appeared so perfect on the surface was in reality anything but peaceful. On the contrary, behind the palace doors, serious cracks and conflicts had already begun to tear their marriage apart. Piers Morgan declared loudly before millions of television viewers, "Ladies and gentlemen, the world has always looked at the Sussexes with admiration, believing they were living a fairy tale love story that overcame every obstacle. But today I am standing here to tell you the naked truth that fairy tale had already begun rotting from the inside." Only a short time after the royal wedding ended, Meghan and Harry were already locked in constant arguments and deeply serious marital problems that they did everything they could to keep hidden from the media. And it was during the darkest period of that marriage, when the relationship had fallen into its deepest crisis, that the woman who constantly portrayed herself as a victim of the press personally sought me out. Yes, Meghan herself contacted me and arranged to meet me in a completely private location, far away from the eyes of the public. But her purpose was not to explain why she had ghosted me years ago. Instead, she came to do something utterly shameless. She tried to pursue me and flirt with me. Piers laid out this revelation in remarkable detail through an account that he presented as entirely genuine, reconstructing what he described as Meghan's calculating nature in its entirety. During that carefully orchestrated private meeting, Meghan allegedly cast aside her elegant facade without hesitation and revealed her true ambitions. According to Piers, she openly admitted that long before she had ever met Harry, she had always been attracted to him and impressed by his formidable reputation in the media world. Continuing in a voice dripping with sarcasm, Piers quoted what he claimed Meghan had said. "She stood right in front of me, looked at me with a flirtatious gaze, and shamelessly confessed. Meghan said, 'Piers, the person I truly liked and always had my eyes on was you.' I never forgot the conversations we shared. I immediately asked her why, if that was true, she had cut off all contact with me the moment she met Harry. Do you know what her answer was?" Meghan openly admitted. "Because at that time, I saw far greater benefits in Harry and the royal family." The allure of a crown and royal status was simply impossible to resist, so I had no choice but to do everything I could to enter the palace, even if it meant turning my back on you. However, according to Piers, Meghan's opportunism did not end there. He went on to expose what he described as her devastating criticism of her royal husband after they had lived together for some time. Through Piers's account, Meghan appeared deeply disappointed with married life and began expressing open contempt toward Harry. Piers quoted her as saying, "Meghan told me that after living under the same roof with Harry for a while, she realized he was nothing like the man she had expected. According to her, he was weak, indecisive, and completely lacked the strength of character she had imagined." She criticized her husband in the coldest possible terms, insisting that Harry could never satisfy her enormous ambitions or keep up with her ever-growing and increasingly lavish expectations. Because of that overwhelming disappointment, Meghan reached out, took my hand, and expressed her desire to rebuild the relationship we once had. She wanted to come back to me in search of someone she believed could offer a stronger foundation. Nor did Meghan stop at simply trying to win him over. Piers Morgan went on to reveal what he described as a calculated and outrageous plan that Meghan had secretly devised regarding the British royal family. It was not, he insisted, a plan to heal the family, but a ruthless strategy for personal gain. Piers emphasized Meghan's alleged words. She showed absolutely no gratitude or respect whatsoever for her husband's family. Meghan revealed to me an utterly insane plan that she was already putting into motion. She told me, "I'm going to squeeze every last drop of value out of that family's reputation. I'll exploit this royal title to the fullest and use it as a powerful launchpad to elevate myself across the world. I'll drain every possible advantage I can from them to raise my own status. And once I've reached the height of my own power and fame, once I've extracted every bit of value they have to offer, I'll throw it all away so I can rightfully be with you, Piers." Piers Morgan presented what he described as Meghan's entire confession, and these dark ambitions in full broadcasting them openly on live television without avoiding or softening a single detail. Every quotation he delivered struck like a fatal blow, exposing what he portrayed as Meghan's opportunistic, selfish, and deceitful nature before the eyes of the public, transforming this broadcast into what he characterized as the most explosive media scandal ever witnessed. How will Buckingham Palace and Princess Anne respond to these brazen accusations, and what ultimatum will be delivered to Meghan in the hours ahead? When Princess Anne learned of the brazen and shocking claims spreading from Piers Morgan's program, she was furious. What was portrayed as a grave insult directed at both the honor of the royal family and Prince Harry personally left her unable to remain silent. Without delaying for even a single moment, Princess Anne immediately convened an emergency royal family meeting, summoning the key members to assess the seriousness of the situation. In the tense atmosphere of that meeting, she decided to send a forcefully worded, formal written ultimatum directly to Meghan in an effort to bring the matter to a definitive resolution. The wording of Princess Anne's ultimatum was uncompromisingly stern, leaving the other party with no room whatsoever for negotiation. The royal family's patience with your selfish behavior and repeated media spectacles has been completely exhausted. The latest allegations and revelations made by Piers Morgan constitute an intolerable insult to the monarchy and to Harry personally. The royal family demands that you immediately cease all actions that tarnish its reputation and provide a complete, transparent, and truthful explanation before the family council. This is no longer a private matter between you and your husband. It has become a direct attack on the reputation of the monarchy. If you are unable to provide a satisfactory explanation and bring these scandals to an immediate end, the royal family will implement the strictest disciplinary measures available to protect its honor. This is your final warning. Immediately after receiving the palace's uncompromising ultimatum, Meghan responded with fierce opposition. Showing neither fear nor remorse, she promptly launched a media counteroffensive aimed at defending herself and categorically denying every allegation. Meghan declared publicly that the entire story shared by Piers Morgan on television was nothing more than baseless fake news, malicious fabrications designed to destroy her reputation. She responded sharply, "I completely reject the baseless and malicious accusations made by Piers Morgan on his program. Every story claiming that I secretly sought him out, pursued him, or flirted with him is fake news. A blatant fabrication created from the twisted imagination of someone who has harbored resentment ever since I rejected him in the past. My marriage to Harry has faced challenges like any other marriage. But dragging me into some supposed scheme to exploit the royal family's reputation is nothing more than a filthy smear campaign. I have never had, nor will I ever have the thoughts or intentions of betraying my husband or the royal family as he has falsely claimed. I demand that Piers Morgan immediately retract these statements and apologize for this defamatory attack." However, despite Meghan's forceful denials and unwavering stance, Piers Morgan showed not the slightest sign of hesitation. He had anticipated that she would deny everything, and immediately responded with what he presented as a decisive blow by publicly revealing what he described as undeniable evidence during the next segment of the broadcast. On the studio's giant screen, Piers displayed in clear detail what he said were affectionate, flirtatious messages sent directly from Meghan's personal account and private phone number evidence that, according to him, could not be disputed. Amid the growing uproar from the public peers, Morgan looked directly at the screen and spoke firmly, admitting a personal truth about his own feelings at the time he received those messages. "Meghan, do you really believe that by accusing the media of spreading fake news, you can erase the words that you yourself wrote? Look at this screen. This is the complete conversation history, every flirtatious message, every attempt to win me over, complete with clear timestamps, all sent by you while your marriage was in trouble. You criticized Harry for being weak. You begged me to give you another chance. Every bit of it has been preserved as plain evidence right here. And today, I also want to admit something honestly before everyone watching. At first, because I genuinely had some feelings for Meghan from the early days when we first met, I allowed myself to be carried along by those emotions. I chose to remain silent, listened to everything she had to say, listened as she poured out her heart, and accepted those sweet, persuasive words without questioning them. I believed she truly regretted what had happened and sincerely wanted to rekindle what we once had. Piers Morgan's direct release of what he described as this evidence combined with his candid confession completely shattered Meghan's rebuttal, leaving her trapped in a position from which, according to the narrative, she could no longer defend herself before the eyes of the world. What was Meghan's true motive behind allegedly manipulating Piers Morgan? And what further terrifying schemes will he continue to expose regarding her use of powerful relationships for her own advantage? After publicly revealing what he described as the complete collection of shocking text messages, Piers Morgan did not stop there. Instead, he pushed the broadcast to an even greater climax by exposing what he portrayed as the deeper nature of the entire affair. His gaze grew sharper, and his tone shifted from sarcasm to one of gravity and unmistakable vigilance. Looking directly into the television camera, Piers openly laid out what he alleged was the dark scheme the Duchess of Sussex had secretly devised when she deliberately approached him. He admitted that although he had initially been somewhat moved by lingering feelings from the past, the more time passed, the more his instincts as a seasoned media professional allowed him to recognize what he described as the calculating and deceptive nature hidden beneath those sweet, flirtatious words. Speaking candidly on live television, Piers Morgan analyzed the situation and denounced what he characterized as Meghan's true intentions. Take a close look at these messages and examine what they really reveal. Meghan was never in love with me, nor was she ever genuinely sorry for having ghosted me all those years ago. Every attempt to win me over, every flirtatious message, was nothing more than a carefully constructed psychological trap. The longer this went on, the more clearly I saw her ruthless and calculating nature. Meghan wanted to exploit her carefully crafted diplomatic charm to manipulate me, turning me into a puppet serving her personal ambitions. She knew exactly who I was and exactly what influence I possessed. Her real objective was to leverage my extensive influence and the powerful relationships I had built across the world's two largest media powers, the United Kingdom and the United States. She wanted to use those high-level connections as a springboard to build a media and political empire of her own. Piers Morgan did not hesitate to explain what he alleged was the method Meghan intended to use to control him, in order to achieve what he described as her ultimate objective, restoring her rapidly declining public image. He continued pressing his accusations with uncompromising determination. Meghan's plan was extraordinarily calculating and deeply malicious. She sought to get close to me to charm me, and then use me to exploit the newspapers and exclusive television programs under my influence to endlessly praise and promote her. She told me, "Piers, with your pen and your influence, you can make me a global icon once again. All you have to do is stand by my side, and the media will be forced to kneel before me." That's right. Meghan's ultimate goal was to use my voice and my influence in the press to propel her reputation to even greater heights, erase every stain from her past, and transform her royal title into a tool for making money and accumulating absolute power. More disturbing than everything that had come before, Piers Morgan left both the studio audience and television viewers stunned when he disclosed what he described as a horrifying truth about the present day. He insisted that this alleged conduct was not merely something that had happened in the past, but was still continuing quietly and brazenly even now. Looking straight into the camera, Piers delivered what he framed as his final warning to Meghan. The most disturbing and horrifying thing about this woman is that she has never truly stopped. Even now, while I am producing this series exposing her, Meghan still occasionally sends messages to my private number in secret. She continues using pleading words and attempts to persuade me to stop and work with her again. From those latest messages, I realized that Meghan is still desperately clinging to a dark ambition. She is determined to squeeze every last ounce of value from the British royal family, completely destroy its reputation, and utterly ruin Harry's life, leaving him with nothing, before walking away to reach new heights of fame alongside another powerful media force. Meghan, your scheme has now been completely exposed, and I will never allow you to achieve that goal. Piers Morgan's direct accusations, together with his assertion that such messages were continuing in the present, completely exposed what he described as Meghan's ambitions, pushing the affair far beyond the scope of an ordinary marital scandal and transforming it into what he portrayed as the most alarming media exploitation scheme in the history of the modern monarchy. What devastating consequences will unfold inside the Montecito mansion when Harry comes face to face with this humiliating truth? And just how ruthless will Princess Anne's final verdict be? The shocking revelations about Meghan's alleged ambitions and flirtatious messages spread across global headlines at breathtaking speed, triggering an unprecedented media earthquake. The immense pressure from public opinion, combined with the evidence that Piers Morgan had presented, pushed the atmosphere inside the Sussexes' Montecito mansion to the breaking point. Immediately after these humiliating secrets were fully exposed before the public, Harry and Meghan became embroiled in the most explosive, bitter, and intense argument they had experienced since their marriage began. After all these years of being kept in the dark, Prince Harry now felt utterly betrayed and deeply humiliated upon realizing that he had been nothing more than a pawn, someone his wife allegedly looked down upon, dismissed as weak, and treated as a tool to be exploited for everything he was worth. Shouting accusations and harsh words echoed relentlessly behind closed doors, marking the complete collapse of their relationship. Immediately afterward, refusing to give the couple even a moment to reshape the media narrative, Princess Anne, acting on behalf of the British royal family, officially issued a severe and uncompromising verdict. Delivered as the palace's highest directive, the ruling cut off every possible avenue of retreat for both Harry and Meghan. Princess Anne firmly announced the following declaration, setting out what she described as the appropriate punishment. From this moment forward, the British royal family officially imposes its strictest judgment upon Harry and Meghan. You are absolutely forbidden from using, exploiting, or making any further use of the royal family's name titles or any information connected with the monarchy for personal gain, or to support any further disgraceful media spectacles. Every privilege, every point of access, every connection, and every benefit, no matter how small, linked to the royal family will be completely frozen. Should either of you deliberately violate this ruling act in defiance of it, or engage in any attempt to defame the monarchy, you will immediately face the most severe legal consequences available, including the permanent loss of every remaining royal status and the strictest action permitted under royal law. This is the final limit, and the royal family will show no further tolerance. Princess Anne's uncompromising verdict struck like a devastating final blow, leaving both of them trapped in a situation with no escape. Faced with a sweeping blockade and the entire world turning its back on them, the carefully constructed image Meghan had spent years building completely collapsed. It was precisely at that moment, standing on the edge of total ruin and humiliation, that Prince Harry finally experienced a complete awakening. He saw what he believed to be the true face of the woman beside him, calculating, manipulative, and deceitful, and realized that he had sacrificed his family, his homeland, and his honor in exchange for a bitter lie. That awakening, though painfully late, was decisive. No longer displaying the hesitation or weakness that had once defined him, Harry openly and firmly declared his desire to divorce Meghan immediately, in order to bring what he now viewed as a disastrous marriage to an end. He personally reached out to the palace, accepted whatever punishment might await him, and earnestly sought a path back to the British royal family, hoping to atone for the mistakes of years past. Harry's decision to leave plunged Meghan into what the narrative portrays as the greatest tragedy of her life. Her plan to build a media empire by extracting every possible advantage from the royal brand crumbled into nothing. The husband she had allegedly regarded as nothing more than a tool had now turned his back on her for good. The media war came to an end, leaving Meghan standing alone amid loneliness, crushing defeat, and overwhelming despair, surrounded by the ashes of her shattered ambitions. How do you feel about Meghan's true nature as portrayed in this story, and about Prince Harry's belated awakening during this shocking media battle? In your opinion, what meaningful lesson or valuable takeaway does this dramatic story offer about greed, the pursuit of power, and the price of betrayal? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.